What's up? Oh, let's see. Oh, it don't matter. What's up? How you doing? Good Sunday afternoon. Um, I don't know how long this is gonna be, but I just got through talking to my brother, who's dealing with some things, and but this is the thing. For a long time, we have been taught that when we're going through trials, tribulations, having problems, don't talk about your problems. Just trust God. Just don't speak on it. I'm going to tell you something that's totally different than that today. What I'm going to tell you is this: whatever it is that you're going through, do not internalize it. Do not keep it inside. You've got to you've got to speak that thing out because you can only put so much stuff in you and you can only hold so much in. And once you're at capacity where there's no more room for anything else, the next thing for it to do is it's got to go somewhere. And if it cannot be internalized any longer, it explodes, which means that it's going to break you down, either mentally, physically, or both. There's more room out than there is in. It's kind of like, and this is kind of like a funny little analogy. They always tell you that if you have gas, do not hold it in because it could cause something to rupture or mess you up inside. And that's not just an old wives' tale. It's something that's true. So as we're going through whatever it is, and it can be anything from the simplest of things to the most difficult, hardest moments of your life. When people ask you how you doing, and usually we just say, oh, I'm fine. Others, be honest about how you feel. Oh, today ain't such a good day. I'm not really feeling all of this, but I'm going to continue on. Speak positive affirmations in the midst of what you're going through, but always be real about how you're feeling. Because sometimes when we don't talk about how we're feeling, we start, cutting this off and cutting that off, and we start internalizing. It's kind of like when you have a cut or a wound or something like that and you're trying to heal it. Sometimes you got to put a little alcohol on it. The alcohol burns. It's uncomfortable, but it's a healing to it. Sometimes you got to put peroxide on it and let it bubble up and get anything in there that's not supposed to be in there out of there. And then sometimes you got to wrap it up and keep it tight and keep the air off of it. But then other times you're going to have to let the air hit it and work itself out. And then you'll look at your wound, and little by little, that wound will start to heal, and it won't be as big as it was before. And it may take a long time because depends upon the pain and how the wound happened. It takes a while for it to become what healed and better. But all through that process, you grow, and you don't realize that one day you'll look down and you realize that wound, that thing that you've been carrying, that pain you had, is healed, and it's better. Now, you may have a scar, but even in the midst of that scar, that area that was damaged and now has been repaired, you'll find out that area is stronger now than it was before. But that takes a process. It takes some time. Don't. How you will always hear people say, don't rush the process. That's why, because that thing that you're trying to get healed from, that very thing is what is going to eventually surprise you, and you're going to be healed. You're going to be a lot better. You're going to be you're not going to be the same, but you're going to be better. You're not going to walk the same or smell things. Things will be different, but they'll be a better different. That's the wonderful, wonderful thing about it. Hey, Asaya, how you doing, Miss Jones? It's good to see you. I'm just, man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people out here that I know, and friends and associates, that have been struggling with stuff, and they don't really know how to respond to it. And I've been struggling with this thing about my marriage when I got married. And I talk about it from time to time and every now and then. But the thing is this: God told me before I got married not to get married. And I did it anyway. My God even sent my brother to say, look, if you don't want to do this, I'll go in there for you and speak on your behalf and say, this is not happening today because my brother's not ready. But I did it anyway because I thought that because I said I would, I had to follow through with what I said. Sometimes we speak and pledge to things that God is not wanting us to pledge to. And it's not that the person is bad or the situation is bad, but what he's got for you is greater than what you think you're about to get. And if you take this right here, it's going to slow down your process. When I got married, I was walking. I was heavy, but I wasn't as heavy as I am now. I was going to the Y, working out, swimming, doing all kinds of things, being very, very active. But now, after I got married and I came back and I got hurt, I have been struggling for the past 10 years to get back to a base where I can get up and walk around and do the stuff that I used to do. And it's hard and it's frustrating and it's depressing. When you know what your mind is capable of doing, but your body is not, that is a hard thing to do. And then for me, God, I thank you, but I'm doing this just me and God. I don't really have a structure, a base, a structure, a support system around me for real that, I would really like to have. And it's not because I don't have good friends. It's just that they going through just like I'm going through. So the time they would love to be able to help me out, they just don't have it. And I'm not mad at them. I love them for just getting themselves together. But there are a lot of times that God will be trying to steer us in another direction. But because we said, Lord, I pledged that I was going to do this thing. We didn't pledge to God. God didn't say that that's what I need you to do. And it's like I studied a scripture in Luke when Simon and the other men went out fishing, and they fished all night. And they were in and they were cleaning their nets and they hadn't caught a thing. But then Jesus showed up on the scene and he said, and he used one of the boats to teach. And after he got through teaching, he was like, here, come and cast out and throw out your net. And he said, all right, look, we fished all night long, and we didn't catch a thing. But at your word, we're going to go out here one more time. So he goes out and he does what was said to him. And what he caught and brought back in was more than he could handle by himself. Sometimes the stuff that we going through, and we can be doing everything the way that we know how to do. It's not until God speaks and says at his word, right now is right now is that moment. When you hear God say right now, that's the moment that you really need to react and do whatever it is that he has already told you to do. At his word. And yes, you might, and I got all these other things from this one scripture where Jesus, after he got the catch, he looked and he realized who he was dealing with. He said, get away from me because I'm a man, I'm an unclean man. I'm a sinful man. God knows the stuff we do. He loves us in spite of what we do. Now, if you have man talk to you, man will put all kind of qualifiers on you. He will put all kind of restrictions and all of it. God knows your business. He knows what's in your heart. He knows what's in your mind. He knows the stuff you've done. He knows what you're going to do. But his love for you and his belief in you is greater. It is so much greater than anything else you can think about yourself. Your greatest expectation of you is so small compared to God's expectation of you. And if you just even barely get anywhere remotely close to where God is expecting you to be, you're blessed. You are so truly blessed. So when you're going through struggles, speak that thing out. Speak it out into the air, because see, here's the other thing that just kind of, when you speak your current conditions, whatever it is, the adversary can't come back after he done took notes and go back and, I'll just say it, go snitching on you. You've already said, Lord, I did bad today. Lord, I did this, I did that. And you'll find that as you confess out in the air, it ain't got to be to no person. Just, Lord, today I'm just mad and I want to smack somebody upside the head. Hey, the devil can't go back and say, you know what, he was thinking about jumping on somebody. God says, I know, he already told me. He already said it. The accuser has nothing to accuse you of. And you'll find that as you speak how you feel and what you're thinking out into the atmosphere, your whole perception of things will change. Your whole thought pattern will change. Trust God. Trust the process. Let the healing go. It may take a while, but you shall recover and you shall be great. I'll holler at y'all later. Love you. Peace.